So I got my COVID hairdo going on. Okay, so yeah, it looks like we're live. When you show up, please drop a comment so that I know that the comments are working. Looks like they are though. Good morning. When you show up, feel free to share this out. Um, as per, thank you, Holly. As per the sort of new way that we're playing with this, I want to G money, G to the money. Excuse me, everything's fine. I'm fine. What? You're fine. Yeah. So right at the top of every show, we're gonna spend 5 minutes, maybe a little bit more, going over some gratitudes. We were sort of tossing the idea around of doing gratitudes at the beginning and good news at the end. But I created that little group to dump some good news in, and there's too much of it to do it at the end because I have no idea how long it'll take just from the last couple of days. So I'll do a few of those today as well at the top. So if you could, we got 12 people here. I want to see 12 people worth of some gratitudes. Just list one, more if you want. But we got to train our brains to start seeing the positive, because it's 2020 and there's a lot of things that suck a great deal. So anyway, number one for me, I am grateful that a friend of mine who is in the hospital is doing okay. It's always worrisome anytime somebody goes to the hospital. But yeah, so that's a huge one for me this morning. Yep, good talk. And I'm excited that there's 14 people here already. That's another good one. And there's 51 people in the good news group that I seriously just started so that I would have a place myself to throw any links or news stories or whatever that were good news. People are like adding themselves to it and throwing in. There was one. I gotta see if I can find it here. From Jan, who I don't think that I know, but she wanted us to know. A very dear friend of mine, now deceased, had a nickname given to her. Yes, she was widely known as Ladybug. Well suited. That's news? No, but good. Yes. Another thing that didn't make the good news group, I didn't put it in there this morning, was I did share it to my profile though, this video of this young girl singing "I'm Every Woman" with her dad like backing her up. I'm assuming it was her dad. But fuck it, just the feels and like the stank face. She's like in it. Urgh. It was good. Anyway. So I want to read off a few things from the good news group just to try and get ahead of it. Maybe I'll start at the beginning and just get up to yesterday maybe. Dreen added this one. Construction begins on a new Tulsa grocery store located in a food desert. That makes me very happy. Oh, this one is huge. Scott Sentence shared this, but I've since seen all sorts of high-profile people sharing it, including Martin Luther King's grandson, and or maybe his son, and even Elon Musk. Mayors in Los Angeles, Oakland, Atlanta, Tacoma, Newark, St. Paul, Jackson, Compton, and Shreveport announced today that they will join Michael D. Tubbs in launching universal basic income pilot programs in their cities. That is super fantastic. Tubbs actually started a pilot in his city. If I'm not mistaken, I think there's a TED Talk on that. And it went shockingly well, except for the shockingly part we all kind of know what's up with that. So that, but I mean, that's just good news, right? One mayor does it, sees positive results, tracks those results. Goes to 10 or 11 cities. Some of them, I mean, Los Angeles is one of the largest cities in the world, right? So like that can only be good. What else? Doreen actually shared this thing from Tulsa Mayor Chi Bynum, who lost a great deal of trust with the COVID thing. Apparently, he's got a really, really awesome competitor now for his seat, which is awesome. Let me get to some of the gratitudes here. Michelle Freeman says, I'm grateful for the existence of the people I love. Ginny says, grateful for support. Jen Rackett, grateful for the pair of whistling ducks who visited my backyard for the second time this morning. Yeehaw, ducks. Holly's grateful that she lives in the land of the free home of the brave. At least there's a lot of you that are brave. Fred, I'm grateful you've returned. I need a place to feel sane. I can't lie. That was part of the deliberations that Greg and I had. Other than the fact that so I think sometimes we need to step away just until we miss it again, which didn't take long this time, which was fun. But the feedback that we got around the community, it really made me want to not decide whether or not to come back, but to how to do it so that we could do it in a sort of mentally and emotionally sustainable way, which I think we're doing some good steps towards that. So Dream said, grateful for Oklahoma victories last night, grateful that our pepper plants are producing, grateful to be here. Awesome. Jen, I will add you to the good news group right meow. It's and seriously, for the people that have, especially Doreen has done a bunch, please bring any good news stories that you find. Greg said, I'm grateful for good care in the hospital for all of you who care about me. I mean, there's a couple of those, I suppose. Janie, grateful that I can accept. That is a good one, but sounds ominous. Fuji, good morning. Spreading gratitude is a group my friend has had for a while. Started as written journals that he passed around. Awesome sauce. Yeah, that's huge. Fred said, I'm grateful Chet sent me Humankind. It's an important book. That's by Bregner, if I'm not mistaken. I will let Greg address Jen's question. Amen, Fred. All right, so a couple more good news stories, and then we can get into some of the other stuff that's going on. Whew. Yeah, I listened to that episode just because I was mentioned, and we know I love to make things all about me. As usual, Fred's last podcast episode is fantastic. So really, really good news about SpaceX. I think about rockets in general. So the EU, some of the functionaries at the EU's version of NASA, right, which is sadly very bureaucracy heavy still, has figured out and announced, okay, we've been making these rockets, and they're not doing terribly, but they just, I think it's called the Ariane. They just launched the Ariane 6, or are about to. They haven't used it yet, but the design and they built it, and now they're gonna use it. And he's basically admitting that it's already out of date. The Ariane 7 is gonna have to be reusable to be even remotely competitive on the world stage, because of course Falcon 9s are stacking up now. There's ones that have launched 5 times already. It's crazy pants. But the thing and the reason why I posted this in the group is that by the time the EU catches up, the BFR will be active, and they will be 4 to 5 times behind still, which is completely mental and very, very fun. Morning, Deb. Yeah. So for the newsy news, Chet actually shared this in the good news group. which I'm just gonna post. How about this? I'll just post it in here. If anyone isn't in it, you guys can hop in there if you want. Trump in a fragile mood and may drop out of 2020 race if poll numbers don't improve. I know this has been like a contentious back and forth. Rightly so, right? 'Cause, like, he would never, quit. He's too dogged for quitting, yada yada. To all the people that think that he won't quit, is it 4 casinos? Is it 4 casinos? Had to roll up into the lawyer's office, hanging his head, sign those bankruptcy papers, walk away in disgrace. If I'm not mistaken, that's happened like another dozen times. So he can break. He can break. Now, do I think it's a big chance that he's gonna break? Kinda no. Kinda no. I think like a 5% chance. Let's say 1 in 20 that he snaps and walks away. I definitely don't think it's a big chance, but I definitely think it's not zero. And that's fun. Anything that just sees the guy getting kicked while he's down and then shoved out of American life. I just hope that happens. Chet also shared YouTube bans white supremacists Stephen Molyneux, Richard Spencer, and David Duke. Good riddance, you fucking fucks. There's actually a bunch of those. As it stands, and I think Sarah Silverman, if you don't follow her on Twitter, she's awesome. Comedian. I'm sure you guys all know that, but she's awesome on Twitter as well. Has been sharing about these this group that has been with multiple different accounts, just copying and pasting Trump's tweets to see if they get banned, and they have all been banned. They are cited almost every other tweet. And right, like it's really, really incredible. So, Jack Dorsey not like labeling every other tweet that's a lie of the president's, it's good. It's a good step. But if he was being treated like the rest of us, they would have booted him off by now. So I would like to see that. But in the I guess we'll take what we can get, right? Yeah, Fred, I'm not scared of Pence. Like, Pence has tried to run for national office before and is just ignored. He's pathetic. And silly. And, teamed up with a liar and a traitor for 4 years. I'm not scared of Pence at all. But, he's a religious psycho, so who knows what he's going to do. List of companies and brands boycotting Facebook for allowing Trump's hate. It's so long I'm not even going to bother reading it, but there are some high-profile brands like Coca-Cola and Clorox and Ford. Somebody actually reminded me that Ford actually donates a ton to Trump, and they still jumped on the the bandwagon. So that's a thing. Twitch suspended Trump's account, which is amazing. And Reddit has banned the Donald subreddit, along with a bunch of others, which, they have been running against Reddit's rules for quite a while, and they finally just banned them all. So there seems to be like a huge multi-spot kind of picture on that, which is good. Dave, were you actually attacked by baby possums? Is this what you are grateful for? Corey's finally here, so we can... Elko, so we can start the party. That's good. Yeah, Fred said my roommates are gay. He represents a danger to them. That's only if he manages to accomplish anything. My strong stipulation is that he is not capable of accomplishing anything except losing. So yeah, right? Like, he would be soundly defeated for the presidency, mainly because you just tie Trump's legacy around his neck like a cement albatross and drop him in the water. Again, could be wrong, right? You can't take any of this for granted, but that's sort of... Dave was explaining that the reason why Greg is in the hospital is because he was attacked by baby possums. Okay. Yeah. That all makes sense. Yeah, in the good news group, time.com actually did a big huge article about the 11 mayors talking about guaranteed income, which is awesome. Chet posted this big huge long story about a guy getting his bike back. That was good news. It's kind of adorable. Just there's not everyone in the universe is fucking terrible. So that's fun. Facebook just labeled the Boogaloos, which are those racist white nationalist asshats who want to start a race war. Talk about fucking a-holes. They labeled them a dangerous organization and banned 500 groups and pages. So that's fun. Let's see if I can actually get... looks like I could save a few of these things. My Aunt Gail posted something about ladybugs. Oh, maybe that's why that lady posted about ladybugs. That makes more sense now. Maybe it's one of my Aunt Gail's friends. Casey Marion probably coming in with some data. Have watched Pence's political career closely since he was first running for national office, Indiana 3rd Congressional District, and lost. Knew he was dangerous as fuck, craven ambition, fundamentalist wacko, sleazy and slippery as they come, but it's got the charismatic appeal of moldy white bread. I absolutely could not have said it better. Ken, confirm. Okay, I have to mention one more piece of good news, and then I should probably go to Twitter and get some of the bad news. Or if there's anything you guys want to talk about today, please rifle it into the comments. Flying solo, kind of vamping writ large. So, oh, my eye's exploding. That's weird. Okay. Anyways, so teenagers on TikTok are now trolling the Trump campaign by pretending to buy millions of dollars in merch. So somebody posted, I can't remember where I first saw it, but it was after the whole TikTok / K-pop fiasco, where they were reportedly signing up for 1 million tickets in Tulsa for the COVID plague in, and then of course didn't go because they're not stupid, right? Basically rolling the Trump campaign in a glorious way. Somebody also realized that you can go into the Trump campaign's merch store and create giant orders in the store, and then just leave them in your shopping cart and don't press buy, because that actually fucks with their supply chain situation, and they might end up ordering like 100x more than they actually need. Now, I personally am not telling anyone to go do that, because that just seems unfair and cruel. Of course, he is a fucking Nazi, so if you do know anyone that has some extra time and wants to put in an order for $200,000 worth of MAGA hats and then forget to press buy, I'm all right with that. Yes. Oh, thank you, Ginny. Good news. Kellyanne, we should actually get a link for that, too. I haven't seen any of the TikTok videos yet. But Kellyanne and George Conway's daughter is on TikTok, and apparently she's crushing. I might actually Google that and see. I can't share my screen because I'm just going natively out of Facebook, but whatever. We'll maybe check that out now. Maria, thank you. So, yeah. Casey said when Pence accepted the VP spot, he was basically guaranteed to lose his re-election bid in Indiana governor. He's that bad. Yeah, and I don't see how, like, Biden would take exactly 1 second to pivot to crushing Pence, right? Why did you work with a traitor and not say anything? Why did you allow him to kill 125,000 people with a shitty response? Right? Why did you repeat his lies on this day, this day, this day, this day, this day? Like I would be hungry for that fight, because then instead of killing Trump, we're killing Trumpism and his enablers. There's kind of no part of that fight that I don't want to have, right? Because that's the thing. Like, Pence will probably try and squeak out the back end of this thing, pun intended, and try and rehabilitate his image at some point, and we all have to be there to smash that in the face as well, because that's just not allowed to happen. Dave said, as an inventory manager, I am enjoying this immensely. It'll cost them a shitload of money. Oh, for swear. That's not how that goes. Abandoning shopping carts messes up inventory. Fuji, thank you very much. Yes. Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. Also makes things unavailable for people that may want to buy them. I like it. Claudia Conway's on Twitter as well. Just followed her this morning. Hey, Mom, if you see one of her tweets, could you tag me and I'll follow her as well? Yeah. I'm not sure, like, beyond that should also just be also dudes and evangelicals wet dream and also Pence pegs the creep meter. Same. Yeah. Again, like Lindsay, he should just come out, quit being an asshole, and we would welcome his rehabilitation into the human race with open arms. Yeah, Fred, exactly. Why did you allow him to ignore Russian bounties on American soldiers? That's intense. So I was listening to Rachel this morning, and there's a clip of one of the moms of one of the soldiers that got killed in Afghanistan over the last year, maybe it was 2019, and she pissed, and trying to figure out what happened, and like the total denial, and then he didn't get read into that. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? He didn't get read into that, right? And in the same sentence, what's her face, McCann, he fucking I just deleted. I want points for this. It's sad that I want points for this. Let me caveat it with that, but I just deleted before posting in my brain with my face parts 2 or 3 gendered insults about the current press secretary. Aren't I fucking woke? Anyway, she's terrible as a human. Let's just put it that way. Because in the same sense that she's saying, "Oh, he wasn't read into that. It totally doesn't matter. It didn't reach the level of concern that we would want to have." She also said that Trump was the most well-informed person on the face of the earth. So that's going well. Definitely the biggest crowd in inauguration history. I mean, so yeah, as far as Pence getting pegged, allegedly, I mean, I hope so. I hope he just gets to feel some love the way he wants to feel it eventually. Because, yeah, repressed rage, apparently isn't good. Yeah, it's a good question. Sue asked, why do they continue to stand silent about it? Like, the party line, the thing that I hear the most often is that they are actually genuinely terrified of the Trump tweet, right? Of being pushed outside the circle by this inane clown, and having the base turn against you, which, from a cynical political point of view, you would think that would make sense. But I'm not sure that his win rate is that good for people that he's backing, and it's getting worse all the time. And even still, like you have absolutely no sort of integrity at all, right? I mean, just look at, well, Jim Jordan never had it, and we know that. But, maybe they just never had it at all. Except for, Justin Amash and Mitt Romney. Who knew? I mean, Mitch McConnell's wearing a mask now. Like, they're clearly sort of separating themselves from him a little bit, which is a bit of a joke, frankly. But yeah. Many people are saying. That's shit. I just read the first half of this, and he might be right. Dave said because the Republicans want Trump to keep pushing the envelope, the more insanity he gets away with, the easier it will be for the next Republican that gets in office. They act like they're clutching their pearls, but in reality, they're cheering it on. I really, 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 really wish that wasn't so plausible, but it really sounds like it is. Yep. It's crazy pants. So, yeah, Sue said, do we think his base backs the killing of American soldiers? Couldn't this be a good jumping off point for Republicans? I mean, if it's not, well, and that's the thing, nothing's worked yet. What they really, and Jim Jordan's doing this already, they're, of course, going to stand with the troops, but they're just going to say that this is fake news, right? And to the persistent 30%, that will work. So, I don't know. Yeah, this is really interesting. Dream said Oklahoma ekes out a victory on 802 Medicaid expansion ballot initiative by 6,500 votes, which of course is not very much, but in a red state, a red state, they do the Medicaid expansion, which, if I'm not mistaken, is attached to Obamacare, while Trump is actively trying to take a shotgun to the ACA's face in the courts. So, that I think becomes more interesting. And in 2018, if we all recall, we won the House in a landslide by focusing on healthcare. I think at some point in this race, certainly if it was close, we would be doing it already. There has never been a time where being intelligent about having a collective effort around healthcare makes more sense than right now. It couldn't be more obvious. Our neighbor's health is now directly going to impact our health and the health of everyone in our community in a way that is very visceral, right? I personally think that is the way it is morally and ethically all the time, but now you could actually die if your neighbor gets sick, right? So for people that are super selfish, not all of them, because we also know that some people that are super selfish and not wearing masks are just fucking stupid and they have no intention of ever changing that. But they're I think is going to be enough that start to see how important this is. Oh, fuck yeah. Maria, good reminder. There's that dirty NRA Russian money. Remember the Republican senator trip they all took to Russia? Which, of course, we covered live at the time. I mean, that's some shit. Yeah, Fred said Biden's healthcare plan isn't perfect, but it's better than what we have. Honestly, it's really fucking good. Like, it just, no bullshit is... it's better than anything that Obama put forward, even as a conjecture. It's better than anything that progressives, the progressive wing of the party, put forward in 2008. I mean that. I was there for that fight. I was yelling for a public option. Biden's is better. Like, Biden moves the needle more than, basically anything except for somehow managing to get Medicare for all passed, which, for the record, couldn't even have passed the Democratic caucus. Again, as somebody who backs it explicitly, it should pass the Democratic caucus, but it wouldn't, right? Definitely wouldn't get any Republican votes, right? So, like, something that just, it's just good. It's not terrible. Yeah, Corey Elko, Obama always said this was the first step. Biden's been repeating that, and I think he's right? Like, that and there were so many mistakes made with the ACA. I mean, I think that Biden's plan as it stands right now should have been the one, because it's not like we got any Republican votes anyway, right? Like, the whole idea behind doing the ACA was to use a Republican Heritage Foundation idea to get Republican votes. Little did they know that, they were never going to vote for anything that the black man wanted. Fuck. Yeah, so, I mean, it's not just, like, not perfect. It's really fucking good. It is. And it is even better for the fact that people still think that it's kind of conservative when it's not. And I think this is the biggest gift that Bernie gave us. And this is how I want to see the Democratic Party negotiate from here on in. You have somebody come in with the best possible idea that would exist in a country like Canada or Finland, or like these other places that are social democracies that have a living, a standard of living that is far superior to the United States, right? You come in with that idea, and Americans go, "Oh my God, no way, socialism!" Because again, 30% of Americans are just fundamentally stupid, which is sad, but that's just the way it is. But then you can then create space, which is exactly what Bernie did. You create space for Biden to come in with a plan that people think isn't perfect, it isn't that good, and yada, 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 which is literally the bombest fucking best plan that we could have imagined 8 years ago. And I wish it could be better, but this is an infinitely better position than we were in 10 years ago. And sadly, it's the way we're going to have to keep doing this fight. We're going to have to come in with the maximalist position that is going to push the boundaries of the Overton window, and then squeak into the new center or center left or whatever, and actually get things passed. But it will dramatically change the lives of tens, if not hundreds of millions more Americans in the process. So what you can do. Casey, I'm not going there. Arborist is a fun word. I don't really know why. So, so we did open the Good News group up to anyone. I put post approval on just recently. Because we started getting some super weird shit really quickly, which is kind of fun. I would have allowed this one anyway, but salon grooms pets to look like wild animals. There's a picture of a poodle that looks like a zebra. Again, if I could share my screen, I would show you that. But if you really want to look at it, you could just go into the group and scroll down. Yeah, that I totally realize that's true, Casey. And I fall prey to that myself. Problem we have is many on the left are idealists who consistently allow the perfect become the enemy of the possible. That's just true. Yeah, me too, Fred. I'm explicitly for single payer. Oh, did he really? Huh. DeSantis extends the foreclosure eviction moratorium. I mean, that's good news. Yeah. There you go. Ugh. Excuse me. Dreen actually posted in the thing about Kojo, who is a congressional candidate that she's been backing for a while. Won the Democratic primary, which is awesome. First black nominee from the Oklahoma's 1st District. Youngest ever Democratic nominee from the Oklahoma's 1st District. First resident of North Tulsa to be the nominee for Oklahoma District 1. And first Ghanaian American nominee for Congress. Kojo is kicking some ass. So that's fun. There was some good news coming out of freaking Oklahoma last night. I'm so glad that we have you there, Dream. That's freaking cool. Yeah, it kind of is, Dave. At this point, Trump's president. It kind of is. Like, we all wanted it. A different candidate. Some of us did. Them days are over. Tech executives, activists launched Super PAC to stop President Trump's re-election by using his tweets against him. That's fun. Powered by Momentum, an app that allows automatic donations to vetted nonprofits. Defeat by tweet lets users pledge a donation between 1 cent and 10 cents for every time Trump tweets to his 82 million followers. That's funny. Okay, cool. I love ketchup. That's all I'm going to add to that. Yeah, good point, Fred. Excellent news. The way to fight the pandemic is to stay home. Taking homes away is a very poor strategy. Yeah, I mean, that's like just like the stuff that should be in the obvious pants department, right? Yeah, Jareen, it was super helpful. She said I felt like I got to do a news roundup for the group. It was fun. Yeah, again, I would anytime, if you're scrolling through Facebook and you see, a news article that doesn't suck. I mean, it's 2020. They all suck, but every once in a while, there's a couple that are good. I implore you to please just drop that link in the good news thing so that we don't have to focus on all the shit all the time. And shit, Nikola Danilov, the Singularity podcast guy, who we've talked to a couple times on the show. Just shared out that 3D printed plant-based steaks could arrive in 2021. These steaks promise to mimic meat texture better than any other plant-based alternatives. There's, I haven't had them yet, but there's apparently some, even like some burgers that just are tremendously, tremendously good. Which is cool. And they even have like the fake meat where they're 3D printing actual muscle tissue that has never been part of something with a brain in it that I'm pretty excited about. Yeah, to Ginny, and this is so dumb, but yes, it has to be Heinz. And I've kind of gotten into the Simply Heinz where they just use like I don't think they use any high fructose corn syrup. Like they just use like normal 18 pounds of sugar and tomatoes. Uh, yeah. So the meat thing, like I have high hopes, and even when it comes down to the climate crisis, as far as the amount of water that's used, the amount of methane that is produced, it's all orders of magnitude better than raising cows. Obviously, the technology and the infrastructure around it needs to scale up, but it seems like it can. Like it might be a little bit more expensive, but if it tasted within like 10% of the same, I would, I would want to force myself to do it. Just like, what's a little surcharge to save the fucking planet? Anyway, yeah. In the near future, we could be having completely cruelty-free steak. I like that. That's fun. Impossible Burgers. That's what it was. Thanks, Ginny. I'm gonna have to get one of those at some point in the near future. We've been watching. Okay, this is something. Okay. Dave asked. We suggested that we would. We absolutely have to do this now. Let's talk some fucking TV. We watched every single episode that we could get our hands on of the show Alone. We talked about it a little bit on the show. I think it was last week. And Dave told me about this guy that breaks his back, which I ended up seeing, and it's real, and holy fucking shit, that's scary. But it makes me want to learn how to fish, and they all, you're dropped off now in the last couple of seasons in the Arctic. Interestingly enough, 300 to 400 miles south of where I grew up, and camped and hiked every day, even in the winter. Right? So that was fun every time we watched that show. Michelle was like, "Wait, you grew up 300, 400 miles north of this?" I was like, "Yeah." But that whole landscape is just a nostalgia bomb. So you get dropped off. You either have to fish or hunt or trap or whatever it is. Kind of have to do a mix of both because you never really know what your little slice of land is going to get you. And the vast majority of them when they hunt stuff, especially like squirrels and rabbits and stuff, like they cry a lot. Now, granted, they haven't eaten in a month, so like that, having gratitude for the calories embedded in a rabbit when you haven't eaten for 2-3 weeks, whatever it is, I would imagine would be an emotional experience. But it also, it's very visceral, and like I would like to be able to have this skill set to do that. I'd really much rather just focus on fishing. It's a goal of Babs and mine to, live on a sailboat at some point and be able to have that skill. Not super worried about the sentience of fish. But freaking like other stuff though. I have serious qualms about my meat usage when it comes to pigs that have been provenly able to do math. And cows, those fucking cows playing with like blow up, balls and stuff. Like they're, it's impossible for me to look at that, moral or ethical framework and say these things are clearly in no way sentient whatsoever. Fucking beautiful day playing with a big, huge red blow up ball. Like, yeah, okay, let's fucking murder that thing and then have a steak. I would much rather have a vat grown steak, just between me, you, and the fish. Anyway, if anyone else wants to watch, thank you. Or mention another TV. I just saw a thing on Dave Fuji. Dave says, Fuji says, watch Dave on FX. It's about a white rapper, and it's amazing. His hype man is Gata and is bipolar, and the 5th episode was amazing and made me cry. Great show. That's awesome. Yeah. Any other shows we should watch? I would really like. Grassland and Can Sink Carbon. Good point. Corey. Dave said, I've been legitimately looking at moving to Canada or Alaska and living a subsistence lifestyle. This way of life isn't working and more fun. Yeah, man. I mean, I'm with you, man. Especially like if like the gill nets are my favorite thing on that show. Like if you could get up and like the homesteading situation in Alaska, I find really interesting because I think the rules are a little bit different in Canada. And now granted, like in Canada, the fucking winters are insane, even compared to Alaska. because you get the Gulf Stream warms things up quite a bit along the coast there. But yeah, if you can get constant streams of food coming in, like that's, it really, it's compelling. It's compelling. Yeah, sharks appear to be unconcerned with our sentience. The 3 attacks that they do a year, and also we're not sharks. Sadly, we have the capacity to contemplate these things in a way that they are, lucky for them, oblivious to. Corey said there are ways we can use cattle that are fed better inputs, feed to regenerate the land we've been depleting, and sequester carbon. Feeding seaweed to cattle reduces their methane by something crazy like 99%. Are you fucking serious? Huh, the grazing and pooping of the cows regenerates, presumably the soil or whatever. Corey, that's really, really good to know. Like that, I mean, other than like this sort of like big industry farming, which is clearly really super gross. I'm absolutely all for, sort of intelligent, sort of cyclical economy, type, uses. Just because that just seems like a good idea. Oh shit, okay. I just finished watching all 3 seasons of Hannibal. It's on Netflix. That show was freaking bonkers. Literally dumbfounded me that it was on network TV. Okay, that's good to know. I'm a little scared of that, and I like it. It's fun. Casey said we breed and raise free-range, grass-fed, antibiotic-free, growth hormone-free cattle. Don't need much beef. Personally, at least I know ours are treated with the utmost care and consideration for their needs and comfort. Amen to that. That's the thing. Like in the farming sort of cattle raising situation where, like, the cattle are having a great life and just they have one, not even a bad day. They have one bad moment. And otherwise lead like a good cow lifestyle. I mean, it's still a little dark, but only in, a sort of presumption that there's a better way, right? If there is no better way, we're gonna eat, which is really like the watching alone. Like I, really, am enjoying sort of coming to terms with that more and more. I've always kind of contemplated it, right? I keep asking some of my hick friends to take me out hunting because for me, like if I can't hunt and kill and dress something, I don't feel like I really deserve to eat meat, even though I keep doing it. Dave said gill nets only work so well for so long. I'd have a fish wheel, more efficient, much better yield in the months you can use it. Yeah, I think I've seen that on some of the Alaska homesteading shows, which are really interesting. I don't really know how the fuck they work, but it's very interesting. Oh shit! Apparently Sue's sister was attacked by a shark. Oh damn, that's scary. Ginny said I've been watching a British show on YouTube about the building of a castle in France using only 13 central techniques. Fucking fascinating. The castle is expected to be finished in 2023. That's fun. Yeah, I think I saw that in a showcase. Grain-fed cattle are sick cattle. The nutrient profile is different than grass-fed. I can only imagine. See, Maria, thank you. She said she started watching Schitt's Creek on Netflix. I've seen that a couple different places now. I've also been trying to get into Dark, and I just can't do it. Some of the smartest people that I know watched all of that, and then said it was amazing. They watched it all again too, and I just couldn't do it. I feel like that probably makes me a racist. All Chinese people doing kung fu level racist. I'm going to hell. Yeah, I hear you, Casey. Lori, that's good. Got a full refund on my hotel for vacation we're not going on. That's good to hear. Yeah, I think as far as all that stuff is concerned, it's I mean, I know you guys know. It's all just going to get worse now. 4 states with major outbreaks, 10 states that are right behind, doing really anything substantial about it. Arizona, Texas, and Florida should be implementing full lockdowns, like shelter-in-place lockdowns right now. That's what New York did, and they're not doing it. So hospitals are going to pack out. So that's fun. That's fun. What else are people watching? Oh, I did want to talk about the Foundation show, which it's gonna be a little bit, but before it comes out, I think. But the Foundation series of books by Isaac Asimov, I didn't realize this, but he started it when he was like 21 years old, and it was 1941 in England. which is nuts because it actually holds up pretty well. They're like from the technological side, you know, it's clearly forward looking, but it's forward looking from a 1941 that doesn't know really what a computer is. So that's interesting. But just the way that he navigates the death of a galactic empire, very much focused on a really good understanding of how the Roman Empire died, I think is instructive. Anyway, Apple TV is making a rendition of it finally, and it looks exquisite. And of course, I think it's the same production team, or you know, Apple has been doing some shows that are really, really good. They did fuck was it? For All Mankind, which I think Greg put me onto. It's really, really good sort of alternative history to the moon landing, like what happens if we just kept going and didn't fucking stay like a bunch of a-holes on our rock. Yeah, Fred, that's not good. Just said I'm in Arizona. I never leave my house anymore. If I get COVID, I will certainly die. Yeah, it's not ideal. Yeah, Mary Ellen, I loved that one too. Oh, Dave, I mean it's worth checking out. Obviously, I've been ranting about it. It looks super slick, and it seems like they're adherent enough to the source material that they're going to get the story right. I mean, how they do it, like I haven't figured out if it's a show or a movie. I should probably do that, because if they do, I'm going to be really sad if it's a movie, because there's too much. And it is kind of episodic anyway. Like it takes 1,000 years to run through it. So it just would make so much more sense doing, you know, hour-long episodes of like the different eras. Yeah, Ginny. I mean, that I just started the Foundation series probably for the 5th or 6th time. I think they hold up pretty good. Yeah, Maria said the new Queer Eye season is in Philadelphia. We watched that already. Freaking love that. By the way, Van Ness, Jason Van Ness, James Van Ness, whatever the fuck his name is, or their name is. I think they've transcended gender. Is doing a podcast. He actually just had Stacey Abrams on, and it is clutch, like stupid good. In fact, so that I don't screw this up, I'm gonna pull it up so that I recommend it properly. And I think it's the second last episode. It's Getting Curious by Jonathan Van Ness. And yeah, the second last episode is how can we shablam on voter suppression? And they're just like exceedingly sharp. And of course, Stacey Abrams is on that podcast, and she's like a freaking laser beam. So that's fun. Yeah, Fred, that's awesome. Humankind by again, I think it's Bregner. I can't remember his first name. He had a TED Talk on UBI. Sort of infamously was asked some questions about UBI at Davos, if I'm not mistaken, by a bunch of like super rich assholes, and just crushed them. That video is amazing. Anyways, standing is fun. Feel free to keep listing shows and stuff, or books or podcasts that you love in this. Should we? I wonder if we should open up like if it's super good stuff. I think maybe I'd be cool with people dropping stuff they really dig into the good news thing. Like if there's a show that you really, really like, it sort of goes in line with the feel for the good news group. Maybe. Rutger Bregman, thank you. Worth Googling. Any video that guy's in, check it out. He's really, really good. And to reiterate, there's 11 high-profile mayors that are now following in Tubman's footsteps and doing a UBI pilot in their cities, which I think is going to be super de-duper fantastic. Yeesh. Sister reported her attack was just like it shows in Jaws. I don't want to think about that. I swim where there are sharks. So, I mean, not anymore because I can barely freaking walk. But, yeah, yay. Yeah, I don't want to hear about that. I want plausible deniability and ignorance for myself. So I'm going to end this show now before any of you talk about more sharks. It's crap. Life Sentence is a great show. That sounds ominous. All right, thank you, Mary Ellen. And to everyone else. I'm glad I waited so that this could be the last thing that I read. I mean, this is pretty off-brand for me. A Dave Myers, I guess. But I will highly recommend The Great British Baking Show. I've watched every episode on Netflix, and I love it. Hashtag not scared. Worth it. Sue, don't be sorry. I'm just being dramatic. I apologize. Oh, shit. New York City shifted $1 billion to education and social services from the police department. Jeannie, I'm gonna make sure that you are in the good news group, and if you see a link on that, please post it because that is huge. Yeah, I think we have that guy everywhere. You look at every Republican ever. The mayor in Jaws would be perfect as the mayor in COVID. Let's open the beaches. Yay! Yeah. All right. Love you guys. I'll be back on Friday. If anyone has any good science stories, send those to me, and we'll do that. Otherwise, we'll just try and keep an eye on everything that's going on. As far as things to watch out for, if you're in Texas, Arizona, Florida, and a few other states, that we need a shelter in place, and the government's not going to do it, so we have to do it ourselves. And if you can find a way to help Biden win, do it. I would recommend, if you're not super excited about Biden yet, go read his fucking policy platform. I did, and it literally smacked me upside the head because they're much, much better than I thought they would be. So that's good. He's a closet progressive. What are you going to do? So that is all. I got to go now and put some more ice on my back parts.